The most harmful compound in our modern food system isn't what most people suspect. It's not high fructose corn syrup. It's not refined sugar. It's not processed carbohydrates, or even those infamous seed oils. Based on extensive studies conducted on lab animals, this compound is categorized as a top-tier cancer-causing agent, what scientists refer to as a Group A probable carcinogen. That means it's highly likely to contribute to cancer in humans. It's also an aggressive neurotoxin, not just damaging your nerves, but potentially impairing cognitive function. It even disrupts reproductive health. And this isn't just speculation. It's confirmed by international cancer research institutions and environmental safety organizations like the EPA. What's wild is that you'll never see this compound listed on food ingredient labels. Why? Because it's not added, it's created. This chemical forms as a side effect when certain foods undergo industrial-level processing, especially under intense heat. So what's this hidden menace? It's called acrylamide. Acrylamide is the result of a high-heat reaction between certain amino acids and sugars. To keep things simple for now, I'll break down the basics. Later on, I'll dive into the science and show you ways to combat it. Here's something shocking. Nearly 40% of the food supply contains acrylamide, but this reaction doesn't happen with whole or natural sugars like honey or raw sugarcane. It takes a specific combination of highly refined sugars like glucose syrup, dextrose, or maltodextrin, and certain proteins to form acrylamide under heat. Modified food starches and chemically altered corn derivatives are the usual culprits. Now think about how food is usually cooked. Most of it's submerged in something, often some kind of oil. At chain restaurants or fast food joints, for instance, fries aren't just baked. They're fried in large vats of oil. And when you mix cheap oils with ultra-refined starches and sugars, the end result is a breeding ground for acrylamide and a recipe for chronic disease. Not only are these oils inflammatory, they act as accelerators in this toxic chemical creation. Here's where it gets interesting. If you use stable fats like ghee, lard, or coconut oil instead of unstable seed oils, the acrylamide formation drops dramatically. Take a trip back to the 1980s, for example. Back then, many fast food outlets, including some famous burger chains, used beef tallow to cook their fries. Despite the presence of starch and protein, acrylamide wasn't a problem because the saturated fat acted like a shield. What if we brought back traditional cooking fats like tallow or even palm oil? That alone could cut cancer risks significantly. Sure, frying would still come with other risks, but at least the acrylamide issue would be largely resolved. Common snacks loaded with acrylamide include tortilla chips, potato crisps, biscuits, crackers, cereal, toasted bread, and even that beloved morning staple, coffee. But don't panic just yet. I've got tips to help you reduce acrylamide in coffee too. So stick around. Quick question for you. Do you remember a time when fries actually tasted better and didn't leave you feeling awful afterward? Or have you ever tried cooking with tallow or coconut oil at home? Drop a comment below and let me know your experience or thoughts on switching away from seed oils. I'd love to hear your take on this. Now that you've got a handle on what acrylamide is and how it's formed, let's talk about how to eliminate it, or at least lessen its impact. One major step is using stable, natural fats like butter, ghee, or coconut oil when cooking. These don't easily break down or oxidize under heat, which helps prevent acrylamide formation. I also mentioned switching to less processed sweeteners like date sugar, maple syrup, or honey. While I'm not advocating for loading up on sweets, natural sugars don't trigger the same reaction as synthetic ones. Another strategy? Low and slow cooking. I sometimes slow cook lamb or chicken for hours, and the temperature never climbs above 210 degrees Fahrenheit. Acrylamide forms at temps over 285 degrees Fahrenheit, so by cooking below that threshold, you stay safer. Even using appliances like crock pot, sous vide machines, or pressure cookers can help reduce acrylamide exposure because they either maintain low heat or use damp, which buffers the dry heat effect that contributes to acrylamide formation. One more tip, eat fewer processed items. If it comes from a box and has a 2-year shelf life, it's probably packed with stuff that can become toxic when cooked or reheated. Fresh whole foods don't go through that same molecular trauma, and your body knows how to handle them. And let's say you do indulge in junk food every now and then, because who doesn't? You can pair it with cruciferous veggies like bok choy, kale, collard greens, or cabbage. These greens contain compounds that help neutralize toxins. Garlic, onions, and microgreens, especially broccoli sprouts, also offer protection. And here's something that often gets overlooked: hydration and detox support. Drinking enough water, especially water with a squeeze of lemon, can help your liver flush out harmful compounds more efficiently. Herbal teas like milk thistle, dandelion root, and nettle are known to support detoxification pathways. Eating fiber-rich foods like chia seeds, flaxseed meal, and psyllium husk can also help bind and carry acrylamide and other toxins out of your system before they get absorbed. If you're looking to armor your body even more, turn to vitamin C-rich foods like kiwi, guava, fermented veggies, lemons, and bell peppers. These naturally counteract oxidative stress caused by acrylamide. Drinks such as green tea and matcha are rich in antioxidants, which fight free radicals. Even algae-based superfoods like chlorella and spirulina help mop up chemical residues in the body. Now let's return to that coffee concern. The problem? Roasting. But there's a catch. Dark roasts actually have far less acrylamide than lighter ones. Why? When beans are roasted longer and hotter, the acrylamide breaks down. So go for an espresso roast or opt for organic, dark blends. Time for the science. The reaction that creates acrylamide is called the Maillard reaction, which happens when amino acids and sugars interact under high heat. The most reactive amino acid involved is asparagine, which is common in soy, rice, corn, and wheat. When asparagine is heated with processed sugar, like fructose syrups, above 285 degrees Fahrenheit, acrylamide forms. But it doesn't stop there. Acrylamide turns into something even more disgusting, glycidamide. That's the compound directly linked to mutagenic activity and cancer development. I'm curious, what kind of coffee do you drink? Have you ever noticed a difference between light roast and dark roast in how you feel after drinking it? Or maybe you're already drinking espresso and didn't even know it was the better option. Let me know in the comments below. Here's the frustrating part. You can't just scan a label and avoid things with acrylamide. It's born from industrial cooking methods and ultra-processed ingredients. These aren't just empty calories, they're loaded with reactive compounds. Processed meals aren't just nutritionally bankrupt, they're chemically dangerous. Want a disturbing stat? The average teenager's diet is now made up of over 65% ultra-processed food. Adults aren't far behind at over 50%, and even toddlers are consuming nearly half of their calories from these frankenfoods. Meanwhile, cancer remains the second biggest killer worldwide. People often blame cigarettes or alcohol, and yes, those are risks, but few realize the damage being done by something like acrylamide. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Once you know what's really happening in that bag of chips or that boxed pastry, it becomes easier to make swaps. Cook more meals at home. Choose real ingredients. If you're craving a snack, go for air-popped popcorn with olive oil, roasted nuts, or dehydrated fruit with no added sugar. These little upgrades add up. Even small, consistent changes, like switching from white bread to sprouted grain, using cast iron instead of non-stick pans, or packing your lunch instead of vending machine, can make a long-term difference. You don't have to be perfect, just be more intentional. In the end, it's not just about avoiding one chemical. It's about reclaiming control over your food and, ultimately, your health. That's real empowerment. So stay curious, stay informed, and remember, the kitchen is where your health begins. If this helps you learn something new or shift your perspective, make sure to subscribe for more content like this. I've got lots more coming your way. Simple tips, deep dives into ingredients, and practical ways to protect your health in a processed world. Hit that subscribe button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and I'll see you in the next video.